In the last video that I made with regard to religion and spirituality in the Bible, I pointed out that I thought love was more than likely a better answer than the Bible. But now, just because you can do this, I'm going to show you how the Bible basically teaches that. First of all, there's a verse that just says God is love. I don't remember where it is. Again, we live in the land of Google. Google it. God is love in the Bible. Not only does it say God is love, and it specifies that out of faith, hope, and love is greater than faith, and faith is supposedly what saves you in the Bible, so that kind of cancels that one out. But also, what do we call things like Christianity and Islam and Buddhism? We call these religions, right? Well, I'm sure everyone has heard, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. How many people have heard someone say that or have said that themselves? I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. Well, the etymology of the word religion, etymology is where a word comes from. The etymological definition of the word religion means to bind together. It comes from religare in Latin, from what I've read anyway. And if you look at that as meaning, the word religion means to bind together. We equate the word religion with God, right? With the idea of God. So if the word religion means to bind together, I'm sitting on my bed right now. I'm bound together with this bed right now. I'm bound together with this phone in my hand. The sound coming out of my mouth is bound together with your eardrums. Every act, even like if I'm just stationary in this position and I'm not moving and I'm not talking, I'm bound together with this piece of space and time. If I move my hand up like this, now I'm bound together with this space and time. Whether it's an act that is full of motion or a motionless act, they're all, by definition, religious acts. You can't escape it. It's equivalent to the word yoga, which means to yoke or unite. And again, back to God is love, right? Or love is a better idea than the Bible. What is love? Love is our desire to be united, to be one, to connect, right? To be bound together with one another in love. There's a thread, man. There's a thread that goes through all of this shit. And I say that thread is love. I say it's what is when you think about, I just commented on somebody's post on Facebook, a Christian that was kind of going on about how, when the Bible says the kingdom of heaven is within us, it doesn't really mean that, because in other places in the Bible it says other things. And I pointed out that, if you were born in Iraq, you'd probably be going on about some piece of doctrine in the Quran right now, et cetera, et cetera. And does it make more sense to argue about a book the entirety of your life, or to look around and say, hey, where's a thread that actually connects us, that actually binds us together? And what do we all want if none of us had a book shoved down our throats, be it the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or the Bible or whatever? And I'm not to say that there's not aspects of these books and teachings that are righteous, but a lot of it is insane too. The idea biblically that the God that created all of us, right, that blood sacrifice is the way, right? The idea that we should look at these books, perhaps before arguing about them and deciding, is this the right thing? Or is truth in and of itself hidden in one single book, in one single idea, in one single faith? The only idea that I can think of that makes sense to live your life by, to walk by, is love. That's been my example. It's when I became a father, the love I hold in my heart for my son, the idea of unconditional love became very real. I would do anything. There is no condition. I place no conditions on the love I have for my son. And there was a point when my son was born, I remember holding him in my arms and looking down at him and thinking to myself, every person I've ever met, every person that's ever done me wrong, every asshole I've ever come across started off as this new baby, this child, this spotless, innocent thing, you know. And I remember thinking, I had this feeling of forgiveness for everybody, for literally all of humanity. And not to say that I took it with me in its entirety, but that love that I experienced towards my child gave me the idea to forgive all of humanity. You know, that example that I found in becoming a father, that's the example that I try to live by, that I try to project out to the rest of the world. You know, if I can treat everyone with half the unconditional love that I show to my son, I'm doing pretty good. Um, and I think that's really what I wanted to say in this particular video. Um, if you want to waste your time arguing about what religion is correct, if you want to waste your time within the context of a particular religion, arguing about how you're supposed to interpret this verse or this chapter or that chapter, etc., 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 ad nauseum till we're throwing up, go for it. But I say, love is sufficient. Love is all you need. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If you feel inclined to argue about it, man, I love you, and I'll be wishing you better things. Only love.